the update on missing 7-month-old Emmanuel Harrow. His parents pled not guilty on Thursday to charges of murder and a misdemeanor, knowingly making a false report of a crime in connection with their son's disappearance, a case that has drawn national attention and remains unresolved as investigators continue to search for the child's body. Jake Harrow, 32, and Rebecca Harrow, 41, entered their pleas at the Riverside Hall of Justice on September 4th, 2025. Both remain in Riverside County Jail, each held on $1 million bail. Newsweek contacted attorneys for both parties for comment via email outside of normal office hours on Friday. The Harrows' not guilty pleas mark more than a procedural step. They shift the case from allegations to litigation in a rare no-body homicide prosecution. With baby Emmanuel's father already on probation for child abuse, the case has raised broader concerns about child welfare, oversight, and public trust in the justice system. Prosecutors now face the challenge of proving murder without a recovered body, while the community awaits answers in the disappearance that began with a reported kidnapping. Where is baby Emmanuel? Why can't the parents just be honest and say where the baby's at? The case began on August 14th, 2025, when Rebecca Harrow called police to report that her son had been kidnapped outside a Big Five sporting goods store. She told investigators she was changing his diaper near her vehicle when a man assaulted her and knocked her unconscious. When she regained consciousness, her son was gone. Deputies searched the area that night but found no sign of the infant. Investigators later reported that Rebecca's account contained discrepancies. The Harrows were arrested on August 22nd at their home in Cabazon after law enforcement determined there were inconsistencies in their account of what they initially described as an abduction. In the statement to San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, while these arrests mark a significant development, our focus remains on finding Emmanuel. In the criminal complaints filed against Emmanuel's parents, prosecutors list the potential date of death for Emmanuel as anywhere between August 5th and August 14th, the day his mother said he vanished. Riverside County District Attorney Mike said during the August 27th press conference that investigators believe Emmanuel died as a result of prolonged abuse. The filing in this case reflects our belief that baby Emmanuel was abused, a victim of child abuse over time, and that eventually because of that abuse, he succumbed to those injuries. Jake and Rebecca Harrow were each charged with murder and the misdemeanor of knowingly making a false report of a crime. During their first court appearance on August 26th, the charges were formally read, but the couple did not enter pleas at that time. Their September 4th arraignment marked the first formal response to the allegations. The parents' not guilty plea formally set the course of the case. By entering them, Jake and Rebecca Harrow require prosecutors to present their evidence in court and prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the couple murdered their son. The plea also underscores that this will likely be a contested case rather than a swift resolution through admission of guilt. That is especially important here because it is a no-body homicide. Prosecutors allege Emmanuel is dead, but his remains have not been found. Such cases test the strength of circumstantial evidence and can become legally complex. Jake Harrow has a prior conviction for child abuse from 2023 and was on probation for that offense at the time of his arrest. He has been assigned 2 public defenders. Rebecca Harrow is represented by defense attorney Jeff Moore, who previously defended Louise Turpin in a high-profile Paris child abuse case. In the days following the arrest, Jake Harrow was seen in a jail uniform accompanying deputies in what appeared to be a search of a remote desert area in Southern California. Authorities have not confirmed the exact location but have indicated they believe they know the approximate area where Emmanuel's remains may be. The case has unsettled residents The two communities east of San Bernardino, where the Harrows lived and where Emmanuell was last reportedly seen, raises questions about child welfare oversight. Jake Harrow's prior conviction, he was serving probation rather than a prison term. That decision, and its potential connection to Emmanuel's case, is expected to receive further scrutiny as proceedings advance. San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department said in its August 22, 2025 release, our focus remains on locating Emmanuell. Riverside County District Attorney Mike told reporters August 27, 2025, the search was ongoing. We have a pretty strong indication of where the remains of baby Emmanuell are, but search operations are still underway. What happens next? The case heads to a preliminary hearing on September 16th, where prosecutors must show enough evidence to proceed to trial. If a judge rules there is probable cause, the Harrows will face pre-trial motions and possibly plea negotiations, though prosecutors have signaled they intend to pursue the murder charges. Investigators continue searching for Emmanuell's remains, which could affect the case's direction. Unless a plea deal emerges, the not guilty plea set the stage for a full trial that could carry a sentence of 25 years to life in prison if convicted for murder. Jake Harrow was on probation for child abuse. He should have been locked up and shouldn't have been allowed to be around those kids ever again. Up next is a video from Court TV showing the parents in court, and of course they plead not guilty, but they are very much guilty of taking baby Emmanuell's life.
We have received a copy of that felony complaint. Stipulate Mr. Harrow has been advised of his legal and constitutional rights, waive formal reading and advisement, enter not guilty pleas, denounce where appropriate.
Receipt of the complaint in this matter, stipulate that her name and date of birth are set forth correctly, and that she has been advised of her legal and constitutional rights. I would ask that not guilty pleas be entered as to both counts in this matter.
The parents of baby Emmanuell Harrow faced a judge on Thursday, charged with the murder of their missing 7-month-old son. They pled not guilty to those charges. Jake and Rebecca Harrow are accused of killing Emmanuell and filing a false police report in connection to the infant's disappearance. After pleading not guilty, the couple is going to be behind bars with bail set at $1 million. Here are some upcoming key dates for Jake and Rebecca Harrow. Felony Settlement Conference. That's going to take place pretty soon. September 16th is the date for that. The preliminary hearing will be September 17th, and then the pretrial hearing is going to be September 18th. So important dates coming up in that case. Baby Emmanuell has been missing since August 14th. The location of his remains, they're still unknown. He is presumed dead by investigators, something the district attorney talked to the media about after Jake and Rebecca Harrow were arrested.
Do you believe you know how baby Emmanuell died or was killed, and is there anything you can share?
The filing in this case reflects our belief that baby Emmanuell was abused, victim of child abuse, over time, and that eventually, because of that abuse, he succumbed to those injuries.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform made for anyone with an idea and a drive to bring it to life. Describe what you want and watch it take shape. You can plan, customize, and expand in any direction. From tools built for one.
Now that we know that Jake and Rebecca Harrow are pleading not guilty, what's a possible defense for the accused parents? Why don't we go ahead and bring in our guests for this hour. Criminal defense attorneys Joe Tamburino and David Bruno are still with us, and also joining the program, private investigator Emmanuell Gomez. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being with us this morning. Emmanuell, I'm going to start with you. We have been wondering where baby Emmanuell is. The parents are not providing any sort of information. How do you take a look at a case like this?
Well,
Due to the fact that Jake Harrow has been lying to the police, he's already told them that his son is dead, and that's why he was seen at another location looking for the body off the highway. He's been misleading the police. So due to the fact that we're dealing with a chronic liar, all right, what we need to do is go back to the digital footprint of the mother and father, and that's going to give us the possible leads of where this baby was taken. Also remember, before she made this complaint, she was at a location where they were doing it at a construction site, which is ideal because there was cement there, cement ditches being dug, and she could have dropped off the body there. But again, that digital footprint is going to give them where the locations that baby could possibly be buried. The fact that they both pleaded not guilty is insane because, again, Jake Harrow told the police his son is dead and took them to a location to where the body possibly could be. The circumstantial evidence in this case is overwhelming.
David Bruno, let me bring you in on this. They did plead not guilty. What's a possible defense? What is the strategy behind that?
No surprise on the plea from me, at least. That's the constitutional right every defendant has. They're presumed innocent. But here's my mindset from a prosecutor standpoint. Which one's going to give the information? You know, it looks like the dad had a very serious prior abuse conviction with another child, infant, that left her permanently damaged and bedridden. So he's got a propensity. So he is probably the #1 suspect target in the most of the conduct. So I just wonder how long it's going to be for mom to come forward with her lawyer with information that could be helpful. Assuming the facts are that dad was more culpable, the prosecutors will probably be looking for either of the two with less culpability to provide information about the location of the body, as well as information as to the cause and manner of death for the murder prosecution of the other. So I think that's what prosecutors are thinking about right now, given the fact that they don't have the body.
Joe, what's your take on this? They pled not guilty.
Yeah, I'm going to go, well, first of all, the not guilty, David's right. I mean, it's a constitutional right. There could be a video of you robbing the bank and you could go into court the next morning and say not guilty. It's basically just a legal maneuver. However, I'm going to go a little bit further with what David was talking about. I think, I can't guarantee this, but based on all my experience, I think the prosecution is likely reaching out to Rebecca's attorneys to see if she would turn on Jake. I just don't have a doubt about that. Why wouldn't you? When you're a prosecutor, what you try to do is get the most culpable guy. Yes, you want to convict everyone who's part of the whole conspiracy, everyone who has dirty hands, but you have to triage. You have to say, I want the guy who's the most guilty to go away for the longest period of time. And it appears in this case, just based on what we know, that would be Jake, because he's got the prior conduct and everything. So I would think the prosecutors are going to Rebecca's attorney saying, look, let's make a deal. She provides the information. She testifies against Jake. She gives us the possible locations of where poor Emmanuel was buried, and we cut her a deal.
Now, after the arrest of Jake and Rebecca Harrow, District Attorney Michael Hestron, he had this to say about the decision to release Jake from custody. This was prior to the disappearance of Emmanuel. Why don't we go ahead and listen to that?
In this case, a judge here in Riverside County, happened to have been a visiting judge from San Bernardino County, gave Mr. Harrow a suspended sentence, which means, if I can translate for you what that is, it means that instead of sending him to prison, he chose to give him probation. I will say that it was an outrageous error in judgment by this judge. And I don't have any problem saying that. I'm not attacking the judge personally. That decision was absolutely outrageous. Mr. Harrow should have been in prison at the time that this crime happened. And if that judge had done his job as he should have done, Emmanuel would be alive today.
Court TV has reached out to the district attorney's office since that news conference. The office has not been commenting on the matter at this time. I can see why they're not really commenting, gentlemen, but why don't we talk about this, Manuel? I'll go to you. Are we any closer to locating baby Emmanuel, or do you think we're just too far removed from any possible developments on that front?
I don't think we're closer to locating baby Emmanuel until, like my colleagues just said, until that mother caves in and goes against the father. But she's not going to, because I believe she's suffering from some form of Stockholm syndrome, because she's protecting her abuser. Clearly, she's a mother of domestic violence, and she's doing everything humanly possible to protect her husband, knowing that her child is dead. Okay? But again, like my colleague said, they're going to continue to press her. She's the weakest link, but we don't have any other new leads. And this is why that digital footprint of their telephone locations is important to find this baby, because that father has a propensity to lie and will lie and misdirect the police, as he has done so far.
David, we just played that soundbite before, some strong words on the front when this case first broke. What's your reaction to that and letting somebody out?
We're talking about a 2018 child abuse case with another victim who was 10 weeks old at the time of the allegation. And that particular victim has lifelong permanent injuries and is bedridden. He did not get prison whatsoever. And I have to join in the questions about that particular sentence, because if he was treated and he was sentenced to jail, he would not have been around to do this. And also, Child Protective Services has been in this family's life, including with this particular baby. So questions have to be also as to how that was handled and why more wasn't done by Child Protective Services.